I'm not used to it. Thank you, Benno, for those touching words. Was not expecting that at all. Everyone understands Benno is not the sensitive type in the least bit. At all. So I'm going to carry on with my speech, hopefully in a similar vein, to express, you know, my appreciation of you. I first met Fat Rich. as he was grossly unfairly called at the time, during a game of Digs at secondary school, which I definitely won. I definitely did. Many of you will have just known as Rich, but to myself and many of his friends, he's known as Benno. He's had a few nicknames over the years: Dicko, Dak, Asmon, and of course the Packet, which is obviously a joke. But Benno's name has stuck among many of the friends that he made at college. Whilst at college, Benno earned himself senior membership of the Basvic Pisshead Society, which was a small group of enthusiastic drinkers. Few of them are over there. During pub crawls and nights out over several years, we all got to see Benno's obvious qualities. His intelligence and his grasp of the English language, although I still have no idea what a vasectomy table is. His practicality in fixing hand dryers, which I know Mitch in particular was very appreciative of. His sensitivity in his choice of football shirt. Even his thoughtfulness in clearing the streets of unwanted car doors and baby shoes. His showmanship, however, was clear on one particular night at Paradox. For those of you not familiar with Paradox, imagine a party for the cast of Crime Watch. That is essentially where you would be on any night. The club had closed, the lights were on, and there was a huge group of people, at least 150 people, waiting for their coats. Benno has come stumbling out of the toilet in full view of everybody. He's managed to just catch himself in time on a cigarette machine, and I'm aware of the fact that we've all eaten. So suffice to say, Tracy Emin, I think, would have been happy with the overall image. It wasn't pretty. Other than showing himself up in clubs, Benno had other strings to his bow. He was one of the first of us to get a car, and was the very proud owner of a mini Metro. Naturally, with a stereo more expensive than the car itself. He financed this by working part-time on the deli counter at the local co-op, cutting cheese and playing with meat. He is the reason I don't ever use deli counters. Polite company, I said it's very difficult Despite the obvious advantages to owning a car, I'm still convinced his main motivation of getting one was simply to get to Golden Grill quicker. He was on first name terms with all of the staff. Despite his obvious limitations, he secured a place at the prestigious Luton University. Represent. Where apart from working as a bouncer, foraging for food at the roadside with Martin and Chris, again, don't ask, he managed to get a degree in psychology. It's actually in spite of the fact that one of the participants in his third-year study required daily visits for a period afterwards from a psychologist to help him recover from the experience. Don't ever let Benno hypnotise you. Don't ever let him. It won't work. It was in the summer of Benno's graduation year that he and George met. Benno's instant attraction to George required no explanation. George's attraction to Benno was a little less obvious. Either his first choice of or rather his choice of the first date at the Air Guitar World Championship was either a stroke of genius or pure dumb luck. But George must have seen something in those slightly too close together eyes. I'm not sure. I'd actually like to thank George in this turn for convincing me to shave my head several years ago. If I have to look like anyone for EastEnders, I would much rather it be Phil than Barry. Yeah, it's funny, been by Barry. He's been a shop assistant twice, a builder, a doorman, a guest list supervisor, admin assistant for his dad, George's personal driver, and a probation officer, of all things, I don't know, that's still a mystery. He also worked on a vineyard for 2 years, which must have been an absolute nightmare for him. And then shortly after that, he's a whiskey salesman, which actually helped him to pursue his interest in professional dance, which not a lot of people know about. But more recently, he's used his proven ability to encourage people to drink, as well as his pretend posh voice. To get a very nice job selling champagne, which came with a very nice new car, as many of you have probably seen. Although this was chosen solely for its compatibility with his new iPhone, I didn't want to say anything during the ceremony, but I think someone might want to check if bigamy laws apply to electronic devices. He's overly in love with that. It's not but despite his work success so far, he unfortunately failed to get his dream job. But the application process for MI5 is a matter of national security. So it's still a mystery to me as to why Benno isn't a spy. Tom, this gentleman sitting here, he did the reading of the ceremony. Both shared a flat with Tom, with Benno rather, and I'm sure I speak for Tom as well when I say that George must have the patience for sake. Despite arguments over his unwillingness to wash up or go to the shop, his irrational hatred of kitchen roll, the fact that he can't cook, and his inappropriate use of the toothbrush, I had some of the funniest times of my life, none of which would have been possible without Benno being there, fully clothed or otherwise. But of course, Benno and George have proved that they are able to put up with each other, whether in northern Italy or picturesque Hackney. They've not only enjoyed one another's company, but the company of those fortunate enough to be their friends and family. Their fun-loving, easy-going attitudes have left an impression wherever they've gone. It's a pleasure to be able to welcome their good friends from Italy. Unfortunately, Gloria did have to bring Tom. John, I'm very sorry, wherever you are, I'm very sorry about that, John. Sorry about the pressure, I know you don't think it. But you know, the football show you keep banging on. I've known Benno's family for many years now, and I can safely say you couldn't wish to meet a nice group of people. Many thanks to Pam and Pete for all of their patience on those numerous occasions. And Benno and I, amongst others, returned to our home. We weren't trying to be noisy, we weren't trying. It is difficult to know what happened with Benno, though, considering what well-balanced and level-headed people his family are. Although I think he's found kindred spirits in his brothers-in-law. I know Leslie knows that for myself, as I found out in Crete. That was an eye-opener. And most of us here know that Kieran does enjoy the occasional celebration. And I think as far as Matt is concerned, I reckon there's a definite meetings of the mind going on there. Yeah, I definitely think, you know, they're two of us now. However, Benno's outgoing, midget-wielding, Chinese speaking, kitchen roll hating, cat traumatising, personally irritating persona belies a true friend. So years of friendship and funny stories isn't easy, and I apologise if this is a bit long as a result. It could, however, have been longer, and there are many more people in Benno and George's life worthy of a mention. All of us here today understand how these two have enriched the lives of the people they've met. George is a truly beautiful person. That doesn't. George is a truly beautiful person, and I know Benno considers himself lucky to have found her, as I consider myself lucky to have Benno as a friend. I'm sure everyone here will agree that their future is very bright indeed. So it gives me the greatest pleasure and privilege to ask you all to be upstanding and to raise your glasses and to toast your bride and bride.